It was raining outside, and you were sitting on the edge of the bed, staring blankly at the floor. Your delicate wedding ring was glimmering faintly under the soft glow of the bedside lamp. You had been married to Jungkook for a week now. The marriage was not born out of love or even desire. It was born out of tragedy. Your hands trembled slightly as you held on to the hem of your dress, your mind pulling you back to that night, the night you lost your elder sister. Across the room, Jungkook stood by the dressing table. His broad shoulders were tense, while his hands were busy in fixing his tie to the perfection. His face was cold, expressionless. He had not spoken more than a few words to you since the wedding. His grief was silent but suffocating, like a storm that never showed its thunder but drenched everything in its path. You glanced at him briefly. He didn't even look at you. He never did. You both were strangers tied together. Flashback, the hospital night. The sterile smell of antiseptic filled your lungs as you stood in the hallway, your hands clutching each other tightly. Your sister Yuna had gone into labor earlier that evening. Everyone had been nervous but excited. Jungkook had been pacing relentlessly. Hands were shaking while his face was pale. "Good, please save her. Good, please save." He was repeating the same lines, his voice trembling. You placed a comforting hand on his arm. "Oppa, Yuni is strong. She will be fine. Don't worry." You reassured him, even though your heart pounded in fear. He nodded half-heartedly, but then a sudden commotion erupted in the delivery room. Jungkook froze, panic flooding through his veins. His forehead was all drenched in sweat. "Doctor, what is happening?" Jungkook demanded, his voice cracking as he grabbed one of the nurses. The doctor looked grim. "Her condition is critical. We are trying our best, but both the mother and baby are in danger." Jungkook's leg gave out slightly. He stumbled back, clutching his head. His lips trembled uncontrollably. "No, no, no, please." His dad immediately held him up. "Son, don't panic. She will be fine." He patted his back, but Jungkook was really worried. Minutes felt like hours. The hallway was filled with the sound of Jungkook's choked sobs and your parents' whispered prayers. Finally, the doctor came out of the room. His expressions were heavy. She's asking for Jungkook and Mayan," he said quietly. You frowned. No one understood, but you followed Jungkook inside. The room was cold. Yuna was laying on the hospital bed. Her face was pale while her lips were trembling weakly as she forced a faint smile. Wires and tubes had surrounded her fragile body. "Yuni, you will be fine." You rushed to her side, tears already spilling. Jungkook dropped to his knees beside her bed, grabbing her hand gently. "Yuna, please, stay with us. Please, please stay." His voice cracked. Yuna looked at both of you, her eyes filled with love and sorrow. Her voice was weak, barely above a whisper. "Jungkook, Ryan." You held her hand tightly. "I'm here, Yuni." Her trembling gaze met yours. "When I am gone, I want you both to take care of each other." Jungkook shook his head violently. "Stop it. You are not going anywhere. You get that?" Yuna smiled faintly, tears escaping her eyes. "Jungkook, please, my last wish, marry her. I don't want you to be alone. Even I can't be there anymore." You felt the word collapse beneath you, your jaw dropped. "Yuni, no, don't say that. You are not going anywhere. We will go home together." But she only weakly squeezed your hand, her suspense fading. "Promise me," she whispered. Jungkook buried his face against her hand. "I promise, just don't leave." You cried, and then her hand felt limp and the monitor flat lined. "Yuna!" He collapsed against the floor, sobbing so hard it felt like the earth itself might break. You clutched her hand, crying uncontrollably. "Uni, wake up, please." Your voice was raw, desperate, but no matter how much you begged, she didn't move. At present, you blinked back tears as the memory ended. You looked up at Jungkook, who was still having a World War II with his tie. You hesitated for a moment before speaking softly. Jungkook, do you need any help? He paused, looking at you briefly through the mirror. His sharp gaze met yours, and you instinctively flinched. Do me one favor, he replied, your lips curved slightly, hoping for a gentle request. What is it? He turned around, his tone cutting through the silence. Just keep your mouth shut. Your smile faltered instantly, your throat tightening, your eyes stung with tears, but you forced yourself to nod. Okay. He glared at you one last time, adjusted his cufflinks, and walked out of the room, the door shutting behind him with a soft click. Silent sobs escaped you. You didn't even know how longer you could keep this up. Why you wanted me to get married, you muttered to yourself between the sobbings. After a while, you went to the bathroom and washed your tear-stained face, forcing yourself to look presentable. Not even Jungkook's mother, who had come to live with you 2 days ago. You straightened your frock and went downstairs where Jungkook was already finishing his coffee. She was smiling warmly at him, but when her eyes landed on you, her smile twisted. Jungkook grabbed his coat and headed for the door. Breakfast? His mother asked him. I am full. He said coldly and left without another glance. You swallowed hard and walked towards your mother-in-law, bowing respectfully. Yumini, I will make breakfast for you. She looked you up and down, her face filled with disdain. You are looking like a servant. Do you even know? Your hands trembled slightly. Yumini, you whispered, your voice weak, but she silenced you with a glare. You flinched, your tears threatening to fall. She looked at you for a brief second and then spoke. You have a nice figure. You looked away mortified. For that, I already bought some dresses for you. I knew you wouldn't have that stuff. Your breath hitched audibly. What? She stood up from the chair and held your hand. You stumbled behind her, your heart racing in panic as you walked behind her to the stairs. Inside her room, she locked the door and threw a bag onto the bed, pulling out a red dress. Don't argue with me, just wear it, she said, making you flinch. You stood frozen, sobbing uncontrollably. She stepped back, smirking. You look beautiful, she said. You cried harder, your body trembling. You had never felt so degraded, so broken. See this. This is how you will keep. If you won't, you will regret it, she said and walked out. Time skipped. The entire evening felt suffocating. You sat in your room, staring at the floor, your hands trembling. Every tick of the clock made your anxiety worse. Then the doorbell rang. You let out a sigh and then walked downstairs, but Jungkook's mother snapped sharply. Go to your room. You froze mid-step, turning to look at her, but didn't you hear me? Go upstairs. You will thank me later. She hissed with her narrowed eyes, your stomach twisted. Please let me go. Now, she shouted, making you flinch. You obeyed, walking upstairs and shutting yourself in your bedroom. Your tears blurred your vision as you sat on the bed, pulling your knees to your chest, wishing the floor would swallow you whole. Downstairs, she opened front door. Welcome home, son. Jungkook's mother greeted warmly. Jungkook stepped in, loosening his tie. His deep, tired eyes scanned the living room almost immediately. Where is Ryan? He asked casually, though his tone was indifferent, as if asking out of habit more than concern. She's upstairs. He nodded coldly, not suspecting anything. You heard footsteps approaching. Your heart dropped, and then the bedroom door creaked open. Jungkook froze in the doorway. His eyes widened, his breath hitching as he stared at you. You gasped softly, instinctively crossing your arms over yourself, your cheeks flaming. His jaw tightened, his dark eyes scanned his expression unreadable until it twisted into something bitter. Yes, he muttered under his breath, the tone filled with contempt. Your heart shuddered instantly. Your lips trembled. You tried to speak, but no word came out. Without sparing you another glance, he strode towards the bathroom. After a while, he walked back into the bedroom. He glanced at you, but you quickly laid down and turned away, pretending to be asleep. He stared at you for a long moment, his expression conflicted but still cold. Stupid girl. With a sigh, he switched off the lights and laid on the other side of the bed, turning his back to you. The silence was deafening. You bit your lip, holding back sobs as you stared at the dark wall. The next morning, the sunlight filtered softly through the curtains, brushing against your face. You opened your eyes slowly, only to find the other side of the bed cold and empty. Jungkook was already gone, like always. You sighed deeply, feeling that familiar ache in your chest. Pushing the blanket aside, you walked into the bathroom to freshen up, splashing cool water on your face, hoping it would wash away the swollen redness around your eyes from last night's tears. You changed into a simple dress and went downstairs, determined to avoid confrontation. But as soon as you entered the living room, you saw your mother-in-law, who was sitting elegantly on the couch, holding a cup of coffee, her sharp gaze fixed on you like a hawk. Well, how was the night? She asked while raising an eyebrow. Your heart pounded. Your breath hitched, dread consuming you instantly. Before you could say a word, she grabbed your hand. Yomni, please. Meanwhile, Jungkook sat in his office, staring blankly at his desk. His mind was not on work. He leaned back in his chair, sighing deeply. He rubbed his temple. He didn't hate you. In fact, deep down, he cared for you far more than he admitted even to himself. But in his grief, his guilt over Yuna had built an invisible wall between you two. He knew you were not to blame, you were tied to him by fate, bound by Yuna's anguish, but each time he looked at you, a shadow of sorrow lingered in his heart. His thoughts were interrupted when he reached for an important file only to realize it was not there. He sighed in frustration. Oh, I must have left it at home, he muttered, grabbing his keys and heading out. As Jungkook stepped into the house, a faint sound reached his ears, a sound that froze him in the tracks. His eyes widened. Without thinking twice, he sprinted upstairs, his heart pounding wildly. When he reached his mother's room, the sight before him made his blood boil. You were crying hysterically. Jungkook's jaw clenched so hard it hurt. His voice thundered through the house. He realized that it was his mother who was forcing you. His jaw clenched. Mom, what are you doing? You froze, looking up through tear-filled eyes. His mother stiffened in shock, her grip loosening instantly. Jungkook stormed inside, his dark eyes filled with rage. Jungkook, his mother stuttered. No explanation, Mom. He quickly shrugged off his coat and set her towards you. It is okay, I am here. Please stop crying, Ryan. He whispered softly into your hair, your fingers clutched, feeling warmth for the first time in what felt like forever. Jungkook turned to his mother, his eyes blazing. Mom, it is better if you leave. But Jungkook, he raised his voice sharply. Mom, please. The, the finality in his tone made her flinch. After a tense silence, she sighed in frustration and walked out, muttering under her breath. Once she was gone, Jungkook looked down at you gently. His heart was pounding loud enough that you could almost hear it. He pushed open the bedroom door and laid you down softly on the bed. His hand lingered, brushing your hair away from your tear-stained face. Wayne, I'm sorry, he whispered, his voice cracking. You turned your face away, unable to meet his gaze. Tears still rolled silently down your cheeks. He let out a sigh and sat down on the edge of the bed, running his hand through his hair in frustration. I should have protected you. I should have not seen what was happening. Instead, I blamed you. I'm sorry for everything. You remained quiet, seeing you like that. His heart tore into many parts. Without another word, Jungkook gently held your hand. Please don't cry, please. He murmured, his voice so tender yet broken, soothed something deep inside you. You clung to him hesitantly, and for the first time, you felt your heart warm. The next morning, the smell of something warm and delicious woke you. You rubbed your eyes sleepily, expecting the usual silence of the house, but when you stepped into the kitchen, you froze as you saw him wearing an apron, was standing by the stove, flipping pancakes with a calm expression. Your eyes widened in shock. He noticed you immediately and smiled for the first time since your marriage. Good morning. Sit down. I will bring you breakfast. He said softly, his deep voice filled with warmth. You blinked at him, stunned. He gestured to the table gently. Sit, don't just stand there. You hesitated but obeyed, your heart pounding strangely. Moments later, he set down a plate in front of you, pancakes drizzled with honey and fresh fruit on the side. You stared at the food, then back at him with wide eyes. You made this? He chuckled lightly. Don't look so shocked. I'm not that bad in the kitchen. You smiled. He served you a food, your cheeks flushed red. Thank you. He sat across from you, watching you with soft eyes. After a long silence, he spoke. His voice low but silent. I'm sorry, Ryan, for everything. You swallowed hard, glancing up at him. His gaze was honest, full of remorse. It is okay. You don't need to be sorry. I can understand. After breakfast, Jungkook got ready for work, sipping on his coat. As he reached the door, he suddenly turned back towards you to see you were cleaning the table. He walked up slowly, his eyes meeting yours. Your eyes widened as he smiled. Take care, I will come back soon. He said softly, his voice deep and husky. You being flinched at his sudden action, nodded your head. With your cheeks flushing red, he smiled back and left for his work. You stood there frozen, your fingers brushing the spot, your heart raced wildly, your face burning crimson. You couldn't help but smile faintly.